I was a functional alcoholic, if you wanna put a label on me. Somewhere, like, in that day, in that moment is when I realized, "I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna quit drinking." How do you stay sober during holidays? Like, who does that? And why? Like, why am I torturing myself? I had a lot of people in my personal life that doubted me, and that was something else that just, like, lit this fire in me, like, "Oh, okay. I'll give you something to doubt."
The last time this guest sat across from me, she was about 4.5 months sober, finding her footing, breaking patterns, and learning to sit in the quiet. Today, she's back, stronger, grounded, and living proof that the real transformation happens after the pink cloud fades. We'll talk about what's changed, what's healed, and how discipline and purpose. And we will talk about some other things. Thank you, Michelle, for being here today. I'm so excited. I've got to see your journey from the very beginning.
I am so excited to be here with you, still sober. It's very humbling, maybe a little bit even shocking, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, I remember the first podcast, and I still have not listened to the whole thing. Like, I don't even know if I'll ever watch this one, but I do remember some of the things that we spoke about. And I just remember it was before the holidays. It was around November, right? So I was pretty newly sober, and I remember I was really nervous about the holidays coming up, and like, oh my gosh, how do you stay sober during holidays? Like, who does that? And why? Like, why am I torturing myself? And just being really nervous overall, about the whole year and stuff. So yeah, no, it's good to be here with you. It's good to see you.
Yay!
Yay.
So you quit in June
June
of
16th.
2024.
Yes. June 16th was my 1 year. Hmm.
So exciting. So can you, for the new audience that probably hasn't seen your earlier podcast, can you kind of just, you had a reason why you decided to do a year sober,
I did.
but then you decided to stick with it. Can you remind us of that?
Sure. So my birthday is June 13th, and I was turning the same age that my father was when he passed away. Without going into that, like, too much, it was just really affecting me, knowing that that birthday was coming up, knowing that I was going to be the same age that he was when he passed. And so I was so nervous to turn 46, like, for years, right? I lost him when I was 24, 25. Um, but especially, like, come January of 2024, knowing that that birthday was coming up, and I just was giving myself all of this anxiety and just like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I thought I was just gonna my life was gonna be over. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's not something that I hope people have to ever go through. Hopefully, by the time you
Mm.
lose your parents, they're, older and have lived a full life. But this really just weighed on my mind and gave me a lot of anxiety. And I thought, I want to do something the year that I'm 46. I just want to do something different, um, than what I do. I don't really know what I was thinking. I remember making some goals like, oh, I'll learn how to line dance. I'll become really good at karate. I'll do this, I'll do that, whatever. Just trying to think of different things. I went to his grave to visit him, which is pretty far away. Um, I think it was on my actual birthday yeah, it was. It was on my actual birthday that I did. So that was the 13th. And then somewhere, like, in that day, in that moment is when I realized, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna quit drinking. I'm not gonna drink for a full year. And obviously it took a couple days, but I didn't drink a lot during those couple days. But I remember, like, I had a margarita at a restaurant for my birthday, so I did have some drinks. So the 16th was like my full first day. That was like my big goal that I was gonna do, and I was gonna do it not only for him, but just to kind of honor my family, and I don't know, just to prove to myself that I could. So that is how the goal started and why it started when it started, in a nutshell.
And now you've been a huge support for my members community in
Well,
the group
yeah,
meetings. I mean, you bring
yeah. Your
a lot of
channel,
insight.
your channel has been very helpful. I've got to meet some really nice people. I love listening to all of the podcasts. I love hearing people's stories. I think everybody's story is important to tell. I think being brave and putting yourself out there, you never know who is listening, who might be able to relate to your story, even if you think your story is boring or way too over the top, or whatever it is. It just it you never know who it is inspiring. And I
Exactly.
love that you started doing all of those podcasts. And, usually YouTubers, we only get to hear them. So for you to kind of make that whole thing where it's like, enough about me, let's hear from you too. I think that that was brilliant. And it really gave people a way to connect. And it's just been fun to watch it grow for you too. It's been really cool.
Yeah, because you were one of my first podcasts, so we go way back.
I know. I found you really early on. I remember when I was trying to change my routine up. I was taking walks in the evening, to give myself something to do, keep myself busy. And so I would go on YouTube and I forget now like who exactly I was listening to. There were a couple that I think I had found, and I would listen to them while I was walking. And then what's it called? Your algorithm, you started popping
Hmm.
up and you were taking walks. And I was like, whoa, I like this girl, so I started listening to you. And that's just kind of how it happened.
I love
That's
it.
how I found you,
So
just like
I
YouTubing
just
other sober
popped.
things. Yep.
I love
Yep.
when I just pop up in people's algorithms, and all of a sudden they become a huge part of the community. I mean, I just love
Yep.
it. It's fun.
It is.
So looking back, what did those 4 months mean to you back then compared to what sobriety means to you now?
Oh, wow, yeah. I mean, that's that is a really good question. I don't know if I have, like, the intelligence to put those kind of thoughts into words appropriately, but I alls I remember is I knew I could do it because I'm just stubborn enough to where if I set a goal, I'll accomplish it. And I knew for whatever reason that I had a lot of people in my personal life that doubted me. And that was something else that just like lit this fire in me. Like, oh, okay, I'll give you something to doubt. I know that sounds horrible, but it
I
just
was the same.
different things motivate different people. So if it was like if there were days where it's like, I'm gonna do this just to prove so and so wrong, then so be it. It wasn't every day.
Hmm.
But now looking back, I wish I would have had the confidence that I have now. I think for whatever reason, I was just being kind of hard on myself and putting a lot of pressure on myself. And I wish I kind of would have put my shoulders back, my head up more, if you will, and just been more confident about it and not worried about anything else. Not, I wish I wouldn't have worried about the holidays coming up and, different things like that. But at the same time, I wouldn't change how I was. It's all raw. It's truth, and it's just how I was feeling at the time. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that I stuck it out, and I'm glad that I gave myself the opportunity. And it takes time. Well, it did for me. I think everybody's journey is different. I would never compare my journey to anybody else's. Um, but I'm glad for me that I stuck it out long enough to where I know now that alcohol has no control over my life. I don't even think of it most of the time. I
Hmm.
mean, and during the year when I was like trying to get through my goal, it was almost like that's all I thought about, because
Yeah.
because I had this goal. So I don't know if like setting a goal was maybe I took the wrong approach on it, but clearly not because I accomplished it. But if you're listening and you're trying to decide, I don't know if you set a goal. I don't know. I mean, I think it works, but it's all about kind of what we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
Now it's
I
not
agree.
a goal. Now it's just like,
Life.
yeah,
Lifestyle.
yes.
So I want to get to the now, but before we get there, I
Okay.
want to kind of just go through what like between those 4 months and now. So what were the hardest internal battles in those early months that you couldn't even see clearly yet?
You're really asking me some really good questions. um, I remember the first 3 days being the hardest. I like white knuckled them. I kept myself so busy that I just was, like so exhausted, needed to go to bed, ready to go to bed when I went to bed. I remember the first 3 days. And then I remember telling myself, you just were sober for 3 days. And that was a really big deal because drinking was just part of my life. It was a habit. It was
Mm.
something I did every single day. I did not get blackout drunk every single day. I have many a times over the years. I've had many a rock bottoms, but at this point in my life, when I decided to stop, it was just part of my daily routine. I was a functional alcoholic. If you want to put a label on me, that's would be the appropriate label. I'm not into labels, but that's the best way to describe how I was drinking at that time. So for me to go 3 days without drinking, whether it was like one glass of wine or, whatever at the end of the night, or whether it was a whole 12 pack of whatever, just going the full 3 days I had to sit there and ask myself, like, I don't remember the last time. It was probably like when I was pregnant with my daughter, who was, she's almost 18 now. So she was a year ago, what, just turning 17. Um, So yeah, those 3 days, sorry, I'm trying to remember the question fully. I just remember those first 3 days being so hard. Everything was hard because I made it hard. I got myself so worked up
Mm.
about everything that was coming in the future that I was not pausing to recognize how far I was going in that moment. I
Mhm.
mean, there were moments that I did and I got better at it. But in that first phase of it, I was just making myself worry about the future. I mean, I'm an overthinker anyway, so I wasn't doing myself any favors, but I did find other ways to kind of release that energy.
Yeah. I want to get to that, but I do want to point out it sounds like so many people do this also. We overthink it. And I think that's
Mhm.
why people, have setbacks because they're overthinking it. In any time I've seen it in personal training, when you start overthinking something, it just, it's almost as if you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yes,
And
I agree.
I I think that, let's relax and, just get through it and
Mhm.
focus on, oh, I got through this day. And there's just so much to that. So overthinking it, I've never really thought about that until you said it. I think too many people overthink their sobriety and that's where they end up failing at it.
Yeah. No, I would not debate that for not even a second. I think that I was just really overthinking of everything that was going to be coming up and get putting too many doubts in my own head myself, like I was being my own
Yeah.
worst enemy as far as my thoughts went. But I was still going sober. So it's like I was not it took me a minute to recognize like, no, you're doing it. You are already doing it. Everything you're worried about, you've been doing for X amount of days now. Like just keep going.
Yeah. I mean, sorry. I just know so much about your story, so I want to just
Mhm.
like to ask you a million questions and tell the world,
Oh, I love that.
what
You're so
the
sweet.
last
Thank
year.
you.
But
Yeah.
I mean, because
Yeah.
I think that you've definitely, I mean, leading up to your year, I know that you had some pushback and you were really kind of like not confused, but just kind of feeling the pressure of drinking again. And then so that is when that overthinking part comes in, right?
Well, I had a
And
lot of people that wanted to celebrate my goal date. Like they knew my goal date better than I did. And they were like, "Oh, okay, well, we'll go have what are they called? What are they?
mimosas.
Mimosas." Yeah, thank you. And that's not even something that I really drink. I'm sure I've had them, but that was never like. And I'm like thinking, why in the world would you want to immediately take me somewhere to get like to me that was just it didn't feel good the way that they
Mhm.
wanted to celebrate. Do you know what I mean? It's
I
like,
do. Oh, and we talked through this
yeah,
in
I
our
know you
members
do.
community, but
I like
yeah.
saying out
But
loud because still when I say it, it's still like, who am I surrounding myself with?
hmm,
I mean, read the room. I doubt what I want to do. And and then it kind of made me start thinking like, is that what I should do? Like, is that what I need to do? I mean, because when you accomplish a goal,
Mhm.
you deserve a reward, right? I mean,
Alcohol. That's
why
best
else
reward out there, right?
exactly, why else make a goal if you're not gonna get rewarded for it? Why so, so that kinda messed with my head for a while too, but it I don't even know how I don't remember exactly just how I dealt with I just didn't really respond to it. I think that I vented to, like, you and people in the sober community, um, and I just have to accept that there are some people in my life, they are who they are. I don't think that they meant ill will by it.
Oh, yeah.
I think that, they genuinely wanted to celebrate, and they've never gone through anything like that. So I don't I don't
It's
think
hard
it
to
was any.
understand.
Yes, thank you. Sorry.
Mhm.
Again, I'm not always intelligent enough to put together
Oh,
these
yeah.
the words that are going through my head. My head's always like moving such
I'm
a
the
high
same way.
speed. Yeah.
But I definitely think that it is, unless you've been through it yourself, it's really hard
Yes.
to understand why it's so important for us to be sober and stay on this side of it and not go back.
Right. One way though that I did deal with it was like for my birthday. I remember I invited people to go to boxing with me because that was something that I had picked up. So I started inviting people to do some of the things that I had picked up along my journey that I was enjoying, to invite them to do different things outside of their comfort zone as well.
Mhm.
And that seemed to work as far as nobody really wanted to go boxing with me. Like, I had a couple people show up, and then, I kind of stopped getting that invite to go for drinks too. So it all kind of worked out. But a couple of them I'm related to. So I'm just gonna not say a whole lot more right now.
Oh, I understand. So, was there a specific turning point where you stopped white knuckling and just started living?
I, honestly, I don't really I don't really feel like I white knuckled my way through the entire year, but I think it's very fair to say that I probably white knuckled more than I didn't because I was just trying to accomplish this goal. I think it was after that goal was up where, and I just realized that days were going by and I just realized I was not even thinking about alcohol. Like it was just not
Mhm.
even a thought anymore. And I think that's when I just realized maybe it was a time when it had been, at least a few days where it was just like not even a thought process or a thought that went through my head. And I'm like, you know what? It's just not part of my life anymore. It's almost just like, I don't know if it's fair to say I just kind of outgrew it. Like kids outgrow
Oh, it's totally
toys.
fair.
Like
Yeah.
maybe I just outgrew it.
Yeah.
And it's just not something, and I'm around people that drink and I see them have hangovers, and I have such a different routine in my life right now. Alcohol just has no place. If I even give let down my guard and have a couple of drinks, I won't do the things that I need to do. Why would I take away this gift that I've worked so hard for? Like the world can
Mhm.
take so many things away from me, but I would be doing this to myself, and I'm the one that worked hard. I'm not going to do that to myself. I mean, this
You're
is
the one that worked hard. I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah, this is my gift to me. So
Mhm.
I just, I'm gonna keep gifting myself with this gift as long as I can. I mean,
Yes.
I'm not a perfect human, but for right now I'm still enjoying giving myself this gift
Yeah.
that nobody can
So,
take away.
exactly, nobody can take it away. I
Nobody.
mean, they can make remarks about it all they
Correct.
want, but they can't
All they
take it
want.
away. So, since we're going into the holidays when this will be released, what were some of the things that got you through your first, like you got October and, all like from October to whatever, New Year's?
Oh, let me think back. So, side jobs, which that could be a whole other conversation in itself because
But you have a fun side job.
I have a couple of fun side jobs, but I had done one the year before when I was still drinking during the holiday time, and I had just done it that year because I thought it looked fun and I wanted extra spending money for Christmas because I have a very expensive a daughter who has very expensive taste. So I thought, why not? And I really ended up enjoying it. And then so that was for like the month of November and December, this little place called the Christmas Ranch. And then I remember being really nervous going into the fall because again, I was overthinking it, all the events coming up. And one of the big
Mhm.
things that we always like to do is have big bonfires. And what do you do at bonfires? You sit around and you just get wasted and you tell the same old stories that you've been telling
Mhm.
every weekend for the last 10 years. And the stories somehow just grow and grow and grow.
Yep.
And now, like, I listen to them from a different perspective and it's very comical. But I was like, I just need to find something for myself to do. I don't want to feel like I'm missing out, on all of the fun. And so I started working at this little well, it's not a little place, it's like a big corporate. If you know if you have an amusement park by you, I mean, it's one of like the Cedar Fair parks, but the one that's here is called Kings Island. So they do this haunt thing and they did like tricks or treats during the day and then haunt at night. So you could dress up like nice and sweet during the day and then you turn to a scary monster at night. Well, I chose the scary monster because why not? Got
Yeah,
nothing to do.
fun.
It's just on the weekends. I work from home. So, my kids are older. I have the ability to do this now. I would have never been able to do it when my kids were younger, and it gave me something to do. And I went in with like no pressure, thinking, okay, if this isn't for me, I don't have to do it. Wasn't that kind of pressure if I get there, because it was really intimidating to me. Like, how am I going to scare somebody? Like, I don't know what to do. And the first couple nights I didn't. I had no idea what I was doing, and it was comical. And I will tell you, there are people that make videos, go through your, it's called a scare zone. It make videos, and there are a couple YouTube videos of me out there on those making a complete fool of myself. But it's okay. It's okay. I signed up for it. It's whatever. But then it took me a couple of nights, and then the first time that I got somebody to kind of like, like the jump scare, which is what I try to do. Well, I kind of started laughing, which you're not allowed to do because you're not allowed to break character. That's when I realized, like, I can do this. So then, I just like, it was my mission. It became my mission. Like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be the very best one in my section. And I don't know that I was the very best one, but I tried, like I tried
Yeah.
very hard every single shift. So then I went back this year, and it's just like some of these people that are there, there's a lot of younger kids, of course, but some of the people that are there have been doing this since they started doing haunt like over 20 years ago. So
Oh,
they get
wow.
the same returners. So it's a good opportunity to meet other people. Obviously, there's no drinking. So if people are working all weekend, these people, I mean, I don't walk up and ask them, are you sober? But, I mean, we're not drinking. We're working until at least midnight, so it's great exercise. I'm tracking my steps. You get on a shift, you get between 20 to 30,000 steps
Oh,
because
wow.
you're just walking the entire time, and to walk to your area and then to the break room and then to your car, blah blah blah. It's a whole thing. So I love the exercise of it. Of course, I'm not making great money. It's just a little side gig. It's Kings Island. They don't pay you a lot, but still extra money. Um, so who doesn't like that? And yeah, so that's what I did that last year to keep myself busy through those bonfire weekends. And then that goes on through like the first weekend of November. And then I have November off. Um, I was tired. So I don't think, I don't. November's also like my daughter's birthday. There were some other things going on. And for Thanksgiving, the Christmas ranch opened that weekend. So I still had Thanksgiving with everybody. We had a pretty early dinner. And then I think I might have worked at the ranch that night. They don't do like the Black Friday
Mm.
shopping anymore. I don't really remember, like, I must have worked the whole weekend because I don't even remember now looking back on Thanksgiving if it was a challenge. I probably wrote it down in my journal. I did a lot of journal keeping, a lot in the first 6 months. And then I kind of, you know, wouldn't think about it as much or remember to do it as much. It was very helpful though, the journal writing. Just even if I just took a day, a week, or a month, whatever the case was, when I would remember just to write down the highlights of like different things that I did or how
Yeah.
I was feeling or, things that I overcame. So Thanksgiving, I don't really quite remember. Must not have been that hard. And then Christmas, I was so I guess I just became I went from an alcoholic to a workaholic is what it sounds like as I'm hearing myself talk out loud. I just started working. I have that addictive gene, so whatever it takes to feed that gene, I guess. And then heck, I might as well just find ways to make money or better myself with got to feed the demon, right? But it wasn't drinking. So yeah, that's pretty much how I made it through. And oh, for because I do have a lot of nieces and nephews, and Christmas is like a really big deal. Christmas Eve, we have like the big party. I, the kids always kind of, I don't want, this will sound bad. I don't mean this exactly like this, but I feel like the adults are so worried about like having fun, which is great. We should be.
Hmm.
The kids sometimes it's like, go back there and play, or here's a present, go back there and play. Which, to be fair, I did that to my kids for years too. I'm not,
Yeah.
no judgment here. I I thought of a couple games to play for the kids, and they were like really fun. So I think I hung out with the kids more, and I hung out with everybody. But I do remember making a couple special games to play with the kids, so they had instead of just the adults playing poker or whatever we play a few games. They got to have their turn too. So that was a lot of fun for me, and they loved it, of course. Um, And then Christmas Day, I think we just kind of hung out at home. Normally, I'd go back over to that same house and eat leftovers and whatever, but I think I was just so exhausted that,
Yeah.
we did our Christmas morning and kind of lounged around the rest of the day and it felt great. New Year's Eve, I
Yeah.
was around drinkers. I remember that was hard. I don't remember Thanksgiving or Christmas being challenging, but again, I worked it away. But New Year's, I want to think, no, that would have been New Year's Day. New Year's Day was my 100 day. I remember now. So New Year's Eve was really hard, but no, because 100, that was
Yeah.
numbers were so big to me, right? I remember like New Year's Day was 100 days and I was going to go reward myself for all of my hard work. I was going to go buy myself a new pair of gym shoes because I'm obsessed with gym shoes. I don't care about high heels. I mean, nothing. I like them, sure, but I buy more gym shoes than I need. And so I
Me
was
too.
going to go reward myself with a new pair of gym shoes. And that's exactly what I did. But I wasn't going to be able to do that if I drank on New Year's Eve. I do remember New Year's Eve being rough. I drank the grape juice that they put in like the champagne bottle to look like, so the adults
Sparkling.
were drinking like, yeah, it's like,
So you're drink sparkling cider.
yeah, I think it was like grape juice. So I drank that with the kids. But then I do remember feeling like really proud. I woke up the next day and it
Yeah.
was like 100 days. And listen, nobody's coming to clap for you. There was nobody sitting around
Mm-mm.
like clapping for me. And that's maybe it was around that time, now that I'm saying it out loud and looking back, that I just learned I needed to clap for my own self, and so
Yes.
that's what I
Yeah.
started doing. And I went and bought myself those shoes. I felt great. We went and had breakfast at this little local restaurant here in Loveland. I was looking around, everybody's in there with eating their hangover foods, and God bless them, because I love a good hangover
Been
meal.
there.
Yeah.
Done there.
But you know what? But it felt good, and I didn't think I was better than it. It was nothing like that. It just I was proud of myself. But I didn't sit there and tell the whole restaurant, like, "I'm not hungover." Nothing
I'm
like
100 days sober.
that. No. Nope, there was no announcement, there was no pat on the back, it was just me out rewarding myself, feeling great, come home and take a big walk on New Year's Day, not sit it away on the couch. So yeah, yeah, those were the holidays. And then the
So
winter comes.
the reward, I try to tell people this that I coach that, obviously I know not everybody has the extra money to go spend, but
Right,
think about
right,
it. You saved so much money during those
right.
first 100 days that you can reward yourself because buying a
Yes.
pair of new shoes is probably cheaper than what you would have spent on alcohol.
As you should. Exactly. If you found a way to buy alcohol every day, or how, not everybody who has a drinking problem drinks every day, maybe on the weekends. If you found a way to get alcohol then you can find a way to reward yourself. So
Exactly.
it's about whatever is important to you.
Yeah. And I
Um,
remember over summertime, this last summer, you kind of were struggling a little bit. I think you guys were having a big barbecue or
Oh, we
something.
host 4th of July.
Mm-hmm. And how
Yeah,
did
no,
you?
fine. The first 4th of July was terrible, but it was what I had just gotten sober on June 16th. So that first 4th of July, I don't even, I'm surprised we had people come back over this year because I could not have been that nice the year before. But everybody's drinking, they don't care. I wasn't rude, but I was just miserable. And that first 4th of July was really hard. No, once your mind shifts and you're not thinking about it, and I think it just wasn't a thing. Trying to even remember, we did not do fireworks here. So I did put a stop to that because one of our dogs really has a hard even with calming
Mhm.
medicine and everything that you can think of, we've tried it.
Same.
So we cannot do fireworks here anymore. So it used to be an all-day event where it was like, come over, swim, grill, and then in the cul-de-sac, we'd go out and let off fireworks. Put on, you spend a lot of money. So we
Yeah.
stopped doing the fireworks show. So now people really just come over to swim and grill. So it's not this full day event. And then they go over to my sister-in-law's to let off fireworks at the end of her street. But I was able to sit out on my deck, my patio. I'm looking that way because that's where it's at. And our town lets them off too. Our town has like this big festival party, like a little street block party, if you will. And I can see them from where I'm sitting on my deck. So I didn't even go down and watch the other. Not because I was being antisocial. I just needed to get things cleaned up and sit with my dog that kind of
Hmm.
acts not kind of, like, completely goes into, like, seizure mode. And
Same. My
everybody
dog does too.
yes, and everybody who was here knows that, so it wasn't, like, a big deal. But I just sat out there. I mean, I spent time with everybody during the day. Everybody left, and then I cleaned up, and then I sat out on the deck and watched the fireworks until I had to come in, with him. So, yeah.
I want to. I don't know if I mentioned this in any of the videos that I've done since 4th of July this year, but my first sober 4th of July was we went somewhere and watched the fireworks at a
Mhm.
local town park, and I was fine. It was totally fine. There was food trucks. The fireworks were controlled. This last 4th of July, they were not controlled, and I found myself so overstimulated. I didn't enjoy it at all. It was my first sober, uncontrolled 4th of July,
Really.
and it's just really different when you see these drunk people lighting off fireworks. A mortar went into the garage. It
Mhm.
wasn't my house. We can't light fireworks in my area. We have too many, I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. Um, but it's definitely a different feeling doing things sober, and
Yes.
then you get through it and you're like, "Okay, I got through that, and what's the next adventure that I get to do?"
Yeah. No, you're there have been plenty of places that I've been where I've left early just because not even so much overstimulation, like, probably sometimes, but an event or something, just because it just doesn't bring me joy anymore. If something doesn't bring me joy, I'm just not gonna do it. That's what I've decided. If you're like, I'll go, I'll try it. If it's not joyful, why am I gonna stay? I'm not gonna put myself through it. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Whole different
Uh,
mindset.
it is. It's
Maybe I'm
yeah.
just a cranky old lady now. I don't know. You guys can tell me if that's how I sound if I come across, but I can tell you I'm having more fun than I think most people I know, and I feel I don't sound great because I have no voice right now. From that little haunted job I was just telling you about, I worked 4 days this past weekend, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'm exhausted. Last year they were only open 3 nights, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So today's what, Tuesday? So I had all day yesterday. I still have to do my work from home job, which is fine. Um, so I just kind of rested yesterday, but today I try to like, get my workout in and like do all my normal things. And my sleep schedule is really off this month. So yeah, I feel a little bit out of sorts because of all of that, but it's okay. It's all for a good purpose, to it is what it is.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people still ask if when my podcast guests how they overcome the cravings. Did you have cravings? I know that me and you personally have talked about what is it, Michelob?
Mick Ultra?
Nickel. Yeah.
Mhm.
I know that we've talked about that. Did you, because I sent you a picture of
Oh,
my
yeah.
NA
On vacation,
when
yep.
I was in Florida.
Yeah.
And so did you have strong cravings? And if so, how did you get through them?
I did. I did. So I went on vacation 35 days into my sobriety. And I only remember that because I kind of glanced through some of my journal before we started the call. And that was one of the things I saw. Like I went on vacation with like 8 other people and in-laws and kids. There were a few of us. And it was days 35 through 41 that we were on vacation. So I'd had a ton of cravings. I really didn't think I was gonna make it through that vacation. Looking back, I'm still not quite sure how I did it, but I did find, and this is I we've taught I know you know this, and it's ridiculous and they were expensive, but I only knew what I knew at that time, and I bought the non-alcoholic White Claws. That's because I saw them at the store. I could put them in my koozie. I could be at the pool with, like, my skinny drink and my
Uh,
hard shell koozie, whatever, pretty much feeling like I was doing the same thing as everybody else. I would say don't waste your money, but, I didn't know what I didn't know, and those helped me through it. So I give them all the credit in the world because they helped me through. I don't think I would have made it through that vacation sober if I had not have found those at the store. I really don't. Cravings, and the Michelob Ultras, you know what? I was drinking those on 4th of July. I did have some of those. I do enjoy those. I've had those a few times. I think there's a couple out in my fridge right now, but I just don't really have any of those things anymore. I'll tell you one thing, I'm drinking way too much Sprite, but it is 0 sugar. Because when I first started, I would make myself little Shirley Temples, and that's how I rewarded myself each evening after I took, like, my walk, and whatever it was my goal was for the day. That was my reward, was the Shirley Temple. And I loved them. Kinda got out of those for kind of stopped doing those after a couple of months maybe, and now it's just the Sprite. And I think sometimes I might be addicted to Sprite, so we'll have to have, like, a whole sober thing to get me off pop. But I do drink the 0 sugar, and I drink a lot of water. I drink a ton of water. So I haven't even been drinking, like, any of the non-alcoholics at all. But yeah,
I
the
know there's a
cravings
lot of controversy
cravings
on
are real.
that.
A lot of
Yeah.
what?
I know there's a lot of controversy on the NAs, and I know people are going to say, well, there's fake sugar in the zero Sprite. I
Oh,
mean,
there
we know
is.
this.
Yeah, no, it's gonna kill me. I'm telling you. I'm not arguing any of that. I'm saying, like, I probably should go drink some NAs or find something else. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they've just been so refreshing for me right now. But again, I drink mainly water, but I am going and grabbing a Sprite out of the fridge more
I
than
don't
I
think
should.
there's anything wrong with if if our choice is still better than alcohol, then let us
Mhm.
have our choice,
Yeah. It just
right?
tastes so good to me right now. I never drank Sprite before, so I'm, like, not doing any caffeine. I'm still drinking
No
some
caffeine?
coffee. Yeah, I used to drink Diet Coke, like, all the time.
Oh.
Diet Coke was my drink, but no, I mean, because Sprite has no caffeine in it, and no, I'm not trying to say that Sprite is, like, this healthy thing at all. Trust me, I know that it's not, but I still drink coffee sometimes in the morning. I don't know, I think I just was trying to give up, like, caffeine, so that's when I got on that Sprite thing, and now it's like, ugh, Sprite might be taking over my life.
I mean,
Right, it
people
could be
do get
worse, I know.
addicted to pop. I
You
have
have that
this.
addictive gene. It's
Yeah.
real. It is real.
Yeah,
But
I
yes,
believe
the
it.
cravings are real. Whatever you find that works for you is what you should do. Don't be afraid to change it up and try new things. Try whatever, and then if you find something that works, you get bored of that, try something else. There's all
And
kinds of stuff out there.
and you took up boxing.
Oh, I love boxing. I started boxing in February. Yep, it was February. And right now I'm only getting to go like once a week just because my schedule's a little bit bat crazy. But, I like to go between 2 to 3 times a week. It's a little expensive, the membership for it, but as long as you go a certain amount of times a week, then it's equals out to like $5 a class, which is not bad. So, and I love the class. I love the instructors. So I think that's another reason why, I really started liking it so much. I kind of like the atmosphere of it. But what I found, I always liked kickboxing as a workout, but I never used like the bag and the gloves, just like a kind of like standstill kind of
Mhm.
kickboxing type thing, which I still do. I like to offset with those when I work out at home. But I would take whatever, and I still do this every single time, whether it's, I have a teenage daughter, obviously we butt heads. Whatever my aggravation is of the day, the week, like whatever's been kind of keeping me awake at night, I will just take there and, it's like a 45-minute workout. Yeah. And I just like let it all out and I'll just hit that bag as hard as I can. I mean, I've messed up my wrists a couple of times, and it's a really good release because I think the one thing that I struggled with for a long time not drinking was where's the release? I work so hard. I'm keeping up with my household. I have kids, we all have things, those are the things that I have going on. I'm like, when I was drinking, it was like, at the end of the day, that was my release. I got to take that deep breath and take that drink, and there was nothing like it. And that's how I got to unwind, or the weekend came, or whatever the case may be. And for the longest time, that's what I was missing. I can't find a way to just like release anything. I'm telling you what, I found boxing, and that is my release for everything. And it feels 1,000 times better than a drink will ever make you feel. I mean, I'm not the strongest person in the world. I'm not the most fit person in the world, but I will tell you what, I feel flipping like superwoman when I walk out of that class every
Yeah.
single time. I leave it all there. And for me, that's been the best release. And I think I didn't find it right away. I didn't find it until February. Sure, I was working out. I was doing, other things. I've always tried to be a little bit healthy, by like drinking every day. But really I was. I've always enjoyed working out in some capacity or another. And so it took me until February to find that, so I did struggle with that. I did. For me, that's what I found that I enjoy and still do. And apparently working. Those
Yeah.
two have been my release. It's a tough
S
one though.
yeah.
It's not easy. I mean, it's not. And there's no, I would never pretend that it is. Never. Just I'm so glad that I gave myself the opportunity to keep going, because then one day you just wake up and realize it's just not something that you think of anymore. And everybody's journey is different. Maybe that's not what your journey looks like. And maybe you do go a long time and then you give in. That's okay. If that's what you have to, don't let that be the reason you give up. I mean, not,
Yeah.
everybody's journey is just different and important.
It is. A few weeks ago, something terrible happened in the United States. And then
Oh.
after that happened, I kind of started seeing clips being played of Charlie Kirk not drinking
Mhm.
and how he chose to quit drinking at a really young age because he said, alcohol will set you back.
It will.
And I think that's coming really strong from a young guy making that
Yes.
decision to abstain from alcohol. I mean, through what, his 2 weeks in college, and then he built an empire sober. I mean, I
Right.
don't think a lot of people realize how much alcohol sets us back. And if you look at these leaders and see so many of them don't actually drink,
Yep.
I mean, what Donald Trump never has had
He's
alcohol because
never had. Yeah.
his brother died of it. So, I mean, it's just
It's amazing. I mean, that being said, I'm sure that, there's a lot of people that are like, well, look, his life ended. It, like hearing that, like, well, what was the point or whatever? He fulfilled his mission as far as I'm concerned.
same.
Yeah, yes, his life was taken way too soon, but I don't think he's laying up there thinking, man, I wish I would have just drank instead. Like you said, alcohol will hold you back. What he did should inspire everybody, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, because sorry, there's just so much I could say about that. we could go down the rabbit hole for sure. But to your point, yes, he did not drink, and I have a son that's 26, and I want him to be inspired by somebody like Charlie Kirk, whatever his political views are. I don't think my son has any political views right now, if I'm being honest. I think that he's worried about himself, which he should be, because he doesn't have kids, he's not married. I don't think that he's really um invested into any kind of political side yet that I know of. But I would love for him to be watch somebody like and he does like Charlie Kirk, and we did talk about it, so that made me happy. And I've heard from people on both sides about it. At Kings Island, I will say that I work with a lot of people who maybe I'm not on the same side as. So, that I've heard I've been a part of some conversations, I've overheard some conversations. So just hearing other people's outtake on it is always interesting to me. That's the
Mm,
only word that I know to describe it. But I think it's important. I think it's important that we know how people are thinking. I think my thoughts are important, and why. I think yeah. I don't know where. See, I'm going to go down the rabbit hole, Megan. You're going to put me in
oh
the
yeah,
rabbit hole.
I know. But
I
I
don't
mean,
know
there.
anybody that I don't know anybody who spends their whole life drinking that has
Yeah.
built an empire. I cannot think of anybody off the top of my head.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah. I mean, he spoke multiple times about how he doesn't drink, not because he's in recovery, but because he believes alcohol weakens discipline, numbs potential, and clouds judgment. And too often, I mean, those all hit right there. And
Yeah,
he grew up seeing alcohol damage families and relationships. I think his father's side had drinking issues, and kind of like you know,
yeah,
you mentioned your dad, and
mhm,
we get to break that generational cycle
yes,
and excel in life.
yes, absolutely. Very well said. So you're speaking so much better than I am.
Uh, I mean, like the logic behind what he said is if something doesn't move you closer to your purpose, it's moving you away.
It is. Yes, 1,000%.
Yeah. I mean, he conquered so much by giving up alcohol at such a young age and built a massive empire, like you said. And to the point, he had the biggest memorial ever.
Yes,
You can't tell me that he didn't make an impact
he
in
did.
this world.
He definitely did. And as far as I'm concerned, he's never going to be forgotten, nor should he
Hmm.
be. His work was very important. All he did was want to talk
Prove me
to,
wrong.
yeah, prove me wrong, debate me.
Mm.
Let's talk to both sides.
Yeah.
That why would anybody think that there is something wrong with that? We should all be talking to each other all of the time. It
Mhm.
Let's get rid of this hate and all of this other stuff that they're trying to get us to divide us. I mean, we should all I aspire to have conversations with people that we don't necessarily agree with,
Yeah.
just to start forming m- mending the what's the phrase? Mending the I don't know. Somebody out there will hear this and help me with my little phase. But it's just time to start coming together and quit letting this world push us apart. And I think if we just kind of take some lessons from him, we can start to do those kind of things for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought
S-
that up. Yep, I think
Yeah.
that he
It's
deserves
just a very it I just love that there's been a movement in not
yes,
drinking, and then when you see figures as big as him, and yeah, his life was tragically taken way too early, close to your son's age. What, they're 6 years apart? I mean, I can imagine that hit you harder. I mean, having kids and being married, it hits so differently,
mhm,
like, I mean, because I'm speaking out against something that is very I'm pretty sure the alcohol companies hate the sober communities.
Oh, sure.
And,
Yes.
it just goes to show that we can agree to disagree, but you know, I'm going against something big too.
You are.
What, you want to take me out because I'm telling you the truth?
You definitely are going through, and that's the problem with society too, is because they normalize drinking. I mean,
Mhm.
it's everywhere. I know we've talked about this. We've talked about this in our weekly sober chats. I so many conversations around it. Another rabbit hole we could go in. But you will get shut down by people like that, but you'll keep going because who cares who shuts you down?
Mhm.
You keep going, there'll be another path will open. But you have to think, because we were just talking about NA. You also have like the Michelob Ultra, non-alcoholic, the White Claws. So you might be pleasantly surprised of those same industries who are willing to work with you to promote that side of it, because it's still money making for them. So don't necessarily see it as a roadblock. But yeah, do I think that they're going to put sober commercials up at on TV anytime soon or at concerts? No. We're not there yet. It's time we normalize sobriety. But I
Well, the narrative is I think there's no science to prove that it's healthy for us. It doesn't scientifically. I was at a brewery having lunch with Jonathan, and I heard I, I think owners, because they were having a meeting about all the stuff, and they themselves I overheard say, "Well, there's no science into actual pairing." So I mean, it's just, where do you get your information from, right? And what do you actually want to hear?
well, you're not allowed to question the science, Megan.
You're not allowed to question anything, I guess.
No, no. You drink when we say to drink. And then whenever you have a problem, I mean, don't come blame us.
Yeah. So, what do you think about Charlie's framing of sobriety as a strength rather than a struggle?
Well, it is a strength. So I think he was just being his honest, genuine self. It definitely is a strength. And what I can take from that now, just looking back, is I wish I would have been strong enough and early on in my journey to see it as a strength instead of that struggle. I think we
Mhm.
all see it as a struggle fairly because it feels like one. It feels like a struggle more than it feels like a strength when you're trying to quit. And I wish I would have been able to view it then as a strength, but now I know that I can carry my message forward as the strength
Mhm.
that it is. And will listen to his words about it and use those as a guidance, on how to word it properly to people and motivate people and stop carrying it along as a struggle to quit drinking. We already know it's a struggle. Let's talk about how strong we are, even if we just go a minute, an hour, a
Yeah.
day. That is strength. So yeah, no, I mean I love listening to him for sure. And I love that his tragedy has brought so many other people to listen to him because right now the world is listening to him whether they want to admit it or not. And guess what? I think the sober people or the people out there who are even struggling or thinking about not drink or anything going sober, I think that there's people that are listening to you too, in this community in these podcasts. And I really I love it. I love that. I love that people want to be a part of this, encourage each other. I haven't been around for the weekly podcast lately because I again am a workaholic now, but I can't wait to be back. You do have like a good group of regulars. I love hearing it. And I like meeting the new people that join too. It's always good to see everybody and hear how
Yeah.
everybody's doing for
Yeah.
sure. Not everybody's perfect. I mean, this is
No.
not, it's not something where it's like, oh, you can never fall off the wagon, and I love that too. I love that it doesn't matter. We've seen a little bit of everything in there, I mean, and it's for everybody.
Yeah. I asked somebody today, and sorry, this fly keeps bugging me. I asked somebody today, I said, with the whole Charlie Kirk thing, like, what legacy do you want to leave behind? Do you want people to know you for positive reasons, or do you want them to remember you as the drunk? And I
And
mean,
what
it's a
kind of
really good
response did you
question.
get? It's a
Well, I
great
mean,
question.
it's a great question. I mean, and I just came to my head when I was talking to her,
I love that.
and I was like, well, what legacy do you? I mean, I don't want to go down being known as the drunk that never took accountability and was always just a butthole to everyone.
Right,
I
right,
mean, why not leave a legacy of, you know, caring about getting the truth out and just being powerful,
right. I love that.
being a good big leader, being a leader. I think that was part of it, was being a leader that people look up to, instead
Mhm,
of what growing up, people like me and you saw people drinking, and so that's all we kind of knew what to look up to, right?
mhm.
But now we get to choose to leave our legacy as people that chose to quit drinking, and people can look up to us as, you know, we're leading by example now.
I hope so. I mean, that's and in my mind, that's how I hope that people see it, and not anything that, we think we're better than anybody else, because that's something that I had struggled with people close to me in my life. I hope that what you're saying is true, whether they want to admit it out loud or not.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I mean, I know so many people that just are lost in many ways, many ways.
Absolutely.
um, hence what happened. But I mean, I think drinking, a lot of us were lost. And now we get to start finding ourselves.
And
And I hope,
that has been, well, I am so glad you said that, because that has been the most fun part for me. I think because I've just spent my entire adult life, uh, sorry, I just got a text from my daughter. Because I've spent my entire adult life, just kind of numbing myself, right? Now it's like I get to go find out who I really am. Like, what do I really like to do when I'm not wasting time numbing myself? And I've been on all kinds of adventures, and I still feel like there's so many more to come. It's almost just kind of like a fun thing. Like, what am I going to find to do next? I would have never thought at this age of my life I would have started boxing, or, going around scaring people, which it's just funny. I'll have to send you some pictures and you can share them with people. I don't know. I'll try to pull one up on my phone here just for the audience to get a chuckle or make fun of me, whatever you want to do. It doesn't really matter to me. But yeah, like getting to know yourself, right?
Mhm.
It has been a wild ride.
I think
So here,
alcohol just masks who we really are. I love that. That
that's
is
one of
so
my
awesome.
favorites from the season so far.
You sent that to me Sunday.
Yeah, I think I sent you the one from Sunday on that one. Let me see it. Share one more. Some of them are better. These are the ones taken on my phone. They have like a PR, whatever it's called, that walks around and takes pictures of all of us, most shifts, for their own little PR purposes. It's funny. But I try to take like some selfies on my phone. It's
It's
horrible,
so, it's
but I
but
love it.
I love how well the makeup is done. It's
Oh, it's a
absolutely
whole
amazing.
production. You have a
Yeah.
call time, like they call you scare actor and they treat you like an actor. It's they do it very, very well. The shifts are very, very long. You have to pace yourself to be able to maintain the momentum to get
Oh,
through
I
it.
haven't seen that one.
Yeah, so I just like to kind of like I'll tease my hair out, and like on a weekend I just won't wash it, for like that weekend. So each shift it just kind of gets bigger, and it goes well with the costume. And in the area I work in, it's really foggy and really dark. So, when you come through the fog and you have that crazy hair, and I mean, these not even little kids, like grown ass men. Like, I've had one fall to his knees, and I love that. So I'm challenging, like, Sean, if you're listening, come to Ohio and come to King's Island, scare you. My brother's coming in from Cleveland at the end of the month. They didn't make it last year. I don't even know if I told them I was working there last year, to be honest. I don't remember. But my brother's coming in the weekend of the 18th, so I'm really excited, you know, to try to scare these people. It
I
sounds
love
so silly.
it.
It sounds
I
so
love
silly.
it.
It was so true, yeah. I know. Oh
We
my gosh, we talked about such I could go on and on and on and on and on. My daughter's texting me, blowing me up. I gotta go help her with a couple of things. It's almost 8 o'clock here and eat dinner.
well, I really appreciate you doing this again.
I know. We gotta do it sooner. So November, I'll definitely to anybody who's listening, you should join the membership and get on the Sunday weekly calls because we just kind of take, again, I haven't been on one in probably over a month because of my schedule, but I'll definitely be back
You
for
know
the
that
next.
you're such an important part of the community when people start asking where is Michelle, and I'm
I
like,
love
I hope
that.
she's good. I mean,
I love
Sean
that.
definitely, and
Yes, I am
I have.
still here. Yes, I am so sorry that you have not seen me on those calls, but you will, and you can hold me to it. And November for sure. If I get any Sundays off, I will just hop on there. As I can. I just don't want to commit and then end up working and not be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I really appreciate I feel like you bring so much value. People were commenting on your previous podcast saying they wanted to get in contact with you or where else can they
Oh, well,
find
send them
you,
my
and
information. Yeah.
but and then so I think I told some of them that would comment that you show up and you talk in the members community.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's it's not always consistent like you said on Sundays, but usually it's on Sundays. I'm trying to find another time that works
Mhm.
for my schedule also.
Right, of course,
But
yeah, and different
and
time zones too, so, like, what right now
yeah,
what time is it there, like 5?
yeah, it's almost 6. But
6,
yeah,
okay, so
and
I thought it was
like
right
different
now 6.
time zones, like even across the ocean. I'm trying to figure out different times that work for
Yes,
everyone, and it's really hard when there's a world full of people out there that are a part of this community, and I'm a mom. So,
no, of
just
course. No, the fact that you even have one out there right now at all that you and that's been out there for a long time now, so
yeah.
you've been very consistent with it,
It's been a
I
year
mean
actually.
has it been a year for that one?
I think
Wow, that's so
right around
cool.
a year,
That is
cuz
so cool. I love
I
that.
just had one of my regulars who's been with me from the beginning. I just saw her little star and it said 12 months, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's
I
been
love
12
that.
months." So,
Wow.
we grow a community here. We're family, and if you really dig deep into this community, the support is there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely. I still feel so blessed that I found you early on in my journey, very early on. Very, very, like, within the first couple of weeks. So you're still and always will be one of my greatest blessings with
well,
my
I appreciate
sober journey for sure. I'm
well, I
very
love having you
thankful
here.
for you, and I love whatever made you decide to wake up one day and start doing YouTube. I'm so glad you did it.
Well, I did not
I'm
start my
really gonna
YouTube with sobriety. I just have to
That's
keep
okay.
saying, like, I mean, it was fitness and health, and it migrated into sobriety without knowing that there was a whole entire sober community out there.
But
No
you know what?
idea.
I honestly feel like the 2 go hand in hand.
They do. And I
I
try,
do.
and I can't like thump that enough because
They
it's so
really go
true.
hand in hand, and what's so bad about that? Absolutely nothing. But, I am always even if I'm not on the calls, I'm always back here as a fan. It's gonna be exciting to see all the places that this goes, for
Yeah.
sure. We gotta do this again soon, and
Yes.
we can go down more rabbit holes because there were so many things that,
There's so many rabbit holes that we could go down.
for sure.
We could offend people, we could make people happy, we could, but it's us, right? You know,
We can only be
everybody's,
ourselves.
yeah. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat how I feel about things.
No. No.
That makes me fake.
Right. No, yeah. No, that's one thing that's great about you is that you're genuinely you, as everybody should be.
Well, I mean, Lindsay can she's the one of the few that have met me, or she's the only one that has met me in person. I've
When
known
did
a
you
couple
guys
people.
meet?
Jonathan and I we took the kids to Silverwood Amusement Park up in northern Idaho, and we were with
Oh,
them
so
every 2 nights. We hung out with them, had dinner,
that
went to the
is so
pool. Yeah,
cool. Yeah, see, I
So,
cannot wait. Hopefully, like maybe this time next year, like in the next year, sometime we can do like a sober trip
yeah,
somewhere that I mean, there's so many different things we can plan and think about. And
I would love to do a sober community girls trip. That would be
I've
amazing.
never, I've never done anything like that. Of
Me
course, I've
neither.
been on sober vacations, but haven't been
Yeah.
with everybody ever where everybody's sober, if that makes sense.
But when I meet people in person, it felt like I just didn't see my best friend for a few months. It
Right?
just felt so natural, and because we become family almost. And
Yes.
so when I was so excited to meet her, but I was super nervous. And then, what is she going to think of me in person? I'm kind
Oh,
of
she's gonna love you. She
like
loves
a
you, I'm
dork,
sure.
but I
I
was like,
love that.
I can't talk. I mean, I don't know. Like it was, it was really nice, and that is when I realized that I'm definitely in the right
Yes.
movement, in the right community, because I'm making friends that are here to support me. It's really hard when you come from a drinking background and don't have all the support in the world. Like you said, I'm going to prove you wrong, make you doubt me. And
Yep.
that's kind of how I did. And now I've met my people and I absolutely love it.
And I have a feeling you're gonna meet a lot more people too, which is exciting.
Yes. One day, hopefully you.
Yes, I know. That would be so much fun.
Well,
So
thanks
much
again,
fun.
Michelle, and have a great night.
You too. Good to see you.